Teresa Brown with Art Student Academy. A lot of our students ask us, how can I do a painting class if I don't know how to draw? But you know what? It's just like learning to play an instrument. You can learn how to do this. And I'm going to show you how. And this is quick, easy. It just takes practice. This is what you need. Let's start off with something simple, like a almost white coffee cup with a handle. Piece of white computer paper. One number 2 pencil, or 2 or 3 if you want, but just a number 2 pencil will do. But the most important thing is a 5x7 sketchbook. And this is convenient. You can carry it around, stick it in your pocketbook, maybe not your pocket, but no bigger than this. Only size we want. And since you'll be doing this at home, a table lamp. This is just a simple desk lamp, but it needs to have this flexing neck. And I'll show you why in just a second. Here we go. Okay, the white paper is because most people don't have a white surface like this. They have a desk or they have something that's dark. This way, I can put my cup on it, and the desk light is used to cast a shadow. Watch what happens when I turn this light on. Look at that great shadow I've got. If I move my lamp down here, the shadow gets longer and longer. If I turn it this way, you see the shadow in the cup. And I'm going to see if I can turn it a little bit this way, because when I draw this, I want to be able to see my shadows. And I'm going to be sitting down to do this, because that's what you're going to be doing. Remember, when we're doing this, you can be at a restaurant, but we're keeping it simple. One item. Okay, you see that I have my light shining on my cup, and you see I have what they call a cast shadow that's coming across here. Now I couldn't figure out how to move it so that I saw this shadow over in my shadow here, the highlight, so we're not going to worry about that. But I also want you to notice that these edges of a shadow are not hard edges, they're soft edges, and I'll show you how to do that. You notice I'm not working really big, so I'm just going to kind of lightly sketch this. I'm going to draw it down just a little, and I will darken this as we go along so you can see it. And I'm going to come down like that. Basic cylinder. There's a little lip underneath this cup that I can just see myself, so I'm going to bring it over here. Now I'm going to outline this just a little bit. And remember, we're sketching this, so I don't care if it's absolutely perfect. I'm not using a straight edge ruler, nothing. If you think you can't do this, you're mistaken. Alright, this handle comes here. Let's see, it starts here, comes up like this. Oh, that's a little high, but I can fix that. That's why we have an eraser. It may not be a great eraser, but let's say I just want to get it perfectly close. Come on down here. And for the most part, I have my handle. I'm going to darken it so that you can see it. Now there's also this rim around the cup, and it's kind of important to notice that because a lot of people don't see it. And I'm going to lightly sketch this in so you can sort of see it. Because this is important when you come around. This isn't real easy to sketch when you first get into doing it. So I like to take my pencil, I want to show you here, sideways, a little bit like this. Maybe this is a good way of showing it. If I try to do it by the point, it takes me a long time. And basically, you want to just sketch this in. So I'm going to start inside my cup. And as I go toward my light, you see I'm in the shadow, it just gets lighter and lighter and lighter. I'll just emphasize this a little bit more. I'm going to come over here and notice how I'm flipping this around. And bringing it over here just a little bit. There's even a little bit of a shadow right here. Can you see that? You can even take your finger, by the way, and help blend just a little bit. But don't overblend, because when you overblend, it looks, you can get kind of smeary. Now I'm keeping my paper one way, and this, by the way, is much darker underneath here. Do you see my shadow? I am just going to lightly suggest that the shadow comes out here. It's almost like that cone. And then I can turn this sideways and begin to fill this all in with my shadow. And notice that I am not actually defining the edges. I'm keeping them sort of vague on purpose. Okay, now I can come in this other way. As I move closer to here, my shadow comes up here, gets a little bit lighter. Now we come over here, which is a trickier part. And again, I'm looking at the shadows on my cup, bringing it this way. The light is a strong light. I can actually erase this top a little bit more. A little bit more shadow down here. I'm going to leave this pretty bright. There's actually a little shadow over here, but I don't think I'm going to show that because that may look kind of confusing. So when you get around to doing this, let me pull this over here. This is actually a highlighted area here. My eraser doesn't want to erase the best in the world, but that's okay. All right, I can smear this just a little here. I can even do these edges here a little if I want. And this is important too. Let's anchor this by giving it a horizon line. So here you have a cup of coffee. Notice there's no coffee in it. And you have this nice shadow going all the way out, and this is what's going to give this your wow factor. I'm going to darken this just a little bit more. You can always make it darker. And there you have a quick sketch. You've just made your eye look at this and look at all the avenues of it. This is just like learning to play an instrument. When you first start, you're going to be uncomfortable, you don't know what you're doing, but as you begin to move along, and this would impress any of your friends who would think, wow, you looked at that and drew it. The more you practice this, the better you're going to get. The next time you do this exercise, hopefully the very next day, set something else up there. It could be a salt shaker. It could be a fork. Keep it light colored for the time being because that helps you see better. So actually, there you have it. It's just a quick sketch. But what I did was I forced myself to look at this as an exercise. Don't always look at it like a coffee cup or a fork or a spoon or a salt shaker, anything simple. But initially, fill this thing up, all right? I want you to date it. I want you to initial it. And 3 weeks later, after you've practiced on at least 20 different items, come back to this coffee cup and draw it again. You're going to see a huge improvement. You're going to be so happy. So, that's our tip for today.